Hello, everyone. I'm back again, and it's so good to see you and so good to be here with you. Anyway, I'm um, I'm at a place where so I had an experience, as I've been having experiences. So this one has to do with trust, attachment, and letting go. So I had an experience where my loved one was supposed to be coming out here, and they did not make it. However, there were some other things going on with one of my really um, good friends, a spiritual sister, who was connected to my loved one, my to be connected partner. Anyway, and I still have this huge smile on my face because every time I talk about him, I think about, like I said, I'm not going to divulge all the story, but anyway, so I'm sharing this part of it because what I realized, so he was supposed to be coming in from the country that he's from, and I was so excited and ready for him to come. But some things happened over in the area that he lives in, and so there was a loss of communication. So there was no word about whether he was coming or not coming, didn't know what was going on for sure. Basically, where he lives, there was a breakdown in the power. There was a power outage, and the power outage was supposed to be coming up this past Monday. So, because somebody tried to install some solar panel connection to the electrical, I'm not clear on what exactly happened, but anyway, it actually knocked out all the power to the area in which he lives. Well, anyway, so his whole family lives in the same place, and my spiritual sister actually was not able to get in contact with her family, so it was making her a bit nervous because time had gone on and on and on, and the last that we had heard is that they were going to be, leaving and going to somewhere else. Now I'm in the midst of communicating with my sweet honey. I'll call him that. Um, During this time, and he's letting me know that he's going to be going to another location so he can get power to his phone. So anyway, in the midst of that, she's attempting to communicate with her family, with her parents, and interact and find out what's going on as well. So we both had gone through an experience, and at first, at the beginning, I was okay because there was communication that took place, and I'm aware and in the know of what's happening and what's going on, and kept abreast of what's happening. So he's explaining to me that he's got a certain percentage of his power on his phone. He's like got 2%, and he's saying I'm gonna, he wants to keep a certain amount for emergency purposes. Well, and so of course, certain things happen. It's not like, it's nothing tragic. I'm not afraid for his life or anything like that, and I'm not at a place where I'm in a place of worry. I'm not worried at all. However, as time continues on and there's a lack of communication, and then I ended up having a conversation with my spiritual sister, and she's not able to get through and find out what's going on with her parents and where everybody is. And it's kind of like, sometimes you can have the ball starts to roll, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And so you can anticipate some things and create worry within yourself. Now, at this point in time, there's probably I'd say about 2 days in, knowing exactly, they're leaving from one part of the area to another so they can get power, and there's going to be an establishment of power, that Monday. So this is over a weekend. So this is happening on Friday. The communication is taking place on Friday. And then the whole weekend, there is a lack of communication except for maybe Sunday, where he reaches out to me and is actually like, checking in and finding out, like, sending me messages to let me know that, he's okay and everything like that. Well, anyway, I think that's happened on Monday. No, it might have been Tuesday, maybe. I can't keep track of the days right now because because there's been so many things that have occurred. Okay, so basically what I experienced after I ended up speaking to my spiritual sister, she was concerned about, because nobody had reached out to her. And, if you're under those circumstances where, you are consistently in communication with your parents and your family, because they live in another area, you and it's not their it's not their MO. It's not something that they usually do. They communicate on a consistent basis with you, and it's not something that you are used to not being able to communicate. So from that end, on her end, she got really nervous. And then I think for me, after I spoke to her, she was like, well, they're not, he was supposed to be coming in, and they had to cancel their flight because there were some changes with the businesses there that they have. So there were life-changing things that were occurring, experiences that are occurring behind the scenes, because it's behind the scenes because those things that we're not being made aware of because we just don't know. So there's decisions on that end being made, and us on this end are going, what's going on? We haven't heard. Have you heard from them? What's going on? And so what I learned, so of course in your vortex, you have the ability to put, certain things in of worry and fret and whatever. And I began to get there a little bit. I ended up having a conversation with someone, and then they explained to me, they were like, yeah, you're a bit worried. And they gave their scenario of their experience of what they had when their husband went and got on a plane. And they said that they were going to be a certain place and they weren't there, and something was delayed or whatever. There can be that fear that comes up inside of us and worry. The replacement of that is trust and attachment. So what I learned, of course, for myself is I am aware of that. I've had attachment issues in some way, shape, and form. And then, expectation. That's another big word that we deal with in life as well. You have an expectation that something is going to happen. And at the same time, to be in a place of balance and just alignment with your highest sovereign self or your highest being self, it's important that you learn how to let go and release attachment. And that's not always easy for everybody. However, it is something that it is important to eventually master, even if you don't have the mastery of it just yet. So this was an opportunity to move into that mastery. And so I actually, after I had a conversation with one of my friends and I explained to her, what was going on, and she was like, so, she asked me a series of questions or whatever, just a few questions, but it wasn't anything, I felt myself getting this close to, feeling a little bit worried, because it was like the time frame, of not communicating with him was starting to get a little bit like worrisome. So, but then I was like, and actually it was so interesting because I caught myself back. Like I didn't, I was able to actually assist my other spiritual sister in releasing and letting go as well. So it's kind of like, and I told her, I'm like, just take a breath. And actually I felt fine. Like after I had the conversation, my processing was, I don't know, it felt easy. Like I wasn't worried. And quite honestly, what I had done is checked into him before I ever contacted her. I checked into him to find out within myself, was he okay? And I got a yes. He's fine. There was nothing that I need to worry about. And so when you have the ability to intuitively connect into someone and find out if they're doing okay, that's very helpful. But I know some people haven't tuned into that, and the way that you can tune into that is the more time that you meditate, or the more time you have contemplation time and being with yourself and listening to yourself. That is the way that you can get stronger and stronger in that aspect within yourself. So everybody has that capability. It's just that you have to practice it and become a master it within yourself. And so I have the ability to tap into the closeness that I have energetically with certain people. I can only say certain people, to find out if they're okay. And I can ask the question, are they okay? And I'll get, yeah, because I can feel it, I can feel it easily. And so I did that, and that's probably one of the reasons why I was able to not go any deeper into, say, the rabbit hole, because of the fact that I asked the question and I got the answer immediately, and I trusted the answer, and I felt better and I felt fine. What I got from that was that the words of attachment and trust. And so I shared that with my spiritual sister about attachment and trust. And I explained to her, I said, this is a lesson in attachment and trusting. We in this life, just because we have family members and friends doesn't mean that things are not going to happen. We know that things happen. It's within us to create some kind of way that we're not attached to that person. But that's neither here nor there. Wherever you are in the spectrum of it, you can have a serious attachment to something or someone, and you might have to go, and I'm not going to say you might, you're going to have to go through an experience where you're no longer attached. Because as we continue on our expansion, as we grow, as people grow and grow more into the beauty of who you really are as, I'll call it Christed beings, that might, I'm utilizing that phrase because, or should I say, higher developmental beings of light, should I say? That's what I'll call you, and that's what I'll call us. That we're higher dimensional. We're expanding in the dimensions of our creation. We're more than this human body. We're spirits, living in an encased body. So there's more to us, and we have that ability to tap into that energy. So, but at the same time, we're still living in this humanness, and we still have emotions, we still have triggers, we still have things that affect us. And as we move along, the movement of becoming more and more of our wonderful, beautiful, shiny, beautiful, expansive, glowing selves, we still have to release the lower expression of emotion that has to do with certain scenarios like the one I'm speaking of. So, so the phrase is trusting. It's like, okay, I'm learning trust. And you can choose to learn trust. Now, don't, so basically, like I've said in the past video, is like, if you have an experience that you end up having, you're going to keep having it until you're able to master it to the best of your ability. It's just going to happen that way. And it gets easier and easier, but each time is different. Let's just put it that way. You have the ability to master it. And so it's kind of like you're doing a talking to through, you're like, okay, I got to talk myself through this. I got to get through this. And so for me, I actually, like, I listen to myself and I ask myself questions. It's like, okay, so how do you feel? So that's usually the first question is, how do you feel? What is going on? That's if I've gone so deep, I've gone deeper into whatever I'm experiencing. But what came up for me that I felt like that was important to master from this scenario was attachment. Having attachment to something or someone. And also, expectation didn't come up this time, but I'm going to shoot another video and express about expectation. The other thing was, let's see, so there was expectation and then trust. So if you have, oh no, I'm sorry, attachment. So if you have attachment to something or someone, the only way that you can, the other side of that is trusting and also letting go. Because you know how sometimes in movies, they're like, if you love her, you'll let her go. You know, I've heard that phrase before. They constantly, they consistently, if you love her, then you'll let her go. Well, because if you try to hold on to something, it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to, you're holding on to it. And it's like, I'm holding on to so tight. I'm holding on to so tight because you're so afraid. And that fear can keep you constricted. And if you allow yourself to be constricted, you cannot allow anything else good to come in. Because think about it. You see, my hands are open. So you have to open up your heart, open up your mind, open up to the ability to know that everything is going to be all right. Now, I'm not saying that is an overnight thing, because it's not possible that it's overnight for some people. It is a process and it takes time. Sometimes depends on how much emotion that you have in an attachment. I'm going to utilize my dad as an example. There was one of the things that I remember, because your body actually can show exactly what is going on inside of you to some degree. My dad had, my stepdad had, his hands were like this. And think about it. You can't pick stuff up. I mean, you can pick stuff up, but things are just constricted and they're much more difficult to maneuver. So he had confined his fingers, because it's like, I'm holding on. And his life represented that holding on expression. And so that's what I mean, is that you need to release worry. You need to release the fear and trust. Now, there is a process about trusting. You have to go within yourself to learn how to trust. And like I said, it's not an overnight thing. I think this particular subject, I'm going to have to go into it and talk about it a little deeper about trusting and give some examples. Right now, I'm not going to do that, but I just want to get the words out. These particular 3 words: attachment, trusting, and letting go. Because when you trust, you're letting go. You're freeing yourself. You're not confining yourself. When you attach to something, it's kind of like one of those jellyfish that attaches it, or some kind of leech that's attached itself and it's sucking. And then think about it, it's sucking on energy. That means your energy is being sucked on, because it's going somewhere else when you're not free enough, because you've attached your energy to something that is not allowing you to think with a clear mind. You make decisions, probably, if you make any decisions, you're making decisions that are so emotionally connected that they might not be beneficial to you. And I don't have any clear evidence of that. However, I mean, you're on an emotional trajectory. You have the possibility of, like, making not so great decisions because you're emotionally attached to the experience that you're having. So anyway, I'm going to elaborate more on attachment, letting go, and trust, probably in some other videos. But after this one, I'm going to talk about something else that just happened as well, that I want to express. But all in all, everything turned out, of course, great, good. Lots of love and laughter conversations after that. I got to connect with my honey. I'm so grateful. And that just brings a smile to my face because, and he basically was like, kind of like, not he was a little bit frustrated because he wasn't able to contact me until he got to a certain area to let me know that he was okay and that he loved me. And I'm just so excited about that. It made me blush. Anyway, anytime I think about him. So, but it allows me to know that I can trust. So the positive part of that is I can trust. I am trusting. I know how to trust. I feel trust. I express trust in every way, shape, and form. And I'm mastering trust. And I'm mastering letting go. Uh, Feels good. It feels good. And I'm grateful for that. So anyway, I'll see you on the next video. I'm going to post this one soon enough. And be good to yourselves again. I love you. And thank you so much for watching. And take care. Bye-bye. Until the next time.